then known was provided at least 48 hours prior to commencement of this meeting in the following manner. Such notices to the Independent Press, the Bloomfield Life, the Star Ledger, and the Herald News. Would you all please stand and join us in the salute of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic. Please, you call roll, please.
Councilman Dagnan.
Present.
Councilman McCollum.
Here.
Councilman Esposito.
Here.
Councilman Galeoto is absent. Councilwoman Skinner.
Here.
Councilman Kane.
Here.
Mayor Lambert.
Minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned meeting of 9/28/98, Councilman DeCarlo.
Mayor and Council move for approval of the adjourned meeting of September 28, 1998.
Second.
All those in favor? The resignation of school. Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Reports of the special committee. Number 1 has been deferred. Number 2, Councilwoman Skinner.
Mayor and members of the council, I'll be
Aye.
Okay, we'll have Stephanie sworn in at a later date. Communications, Louise, written.
Thank you, Mayor. There are 2 communications. One's from Mr. and Mrs. Brown of 1 $52, $1,100. The other correspondence is from Senator Norman Robertson. We received it today, dated November 13th. I was pleased to learn that the New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund has approved $166,000
So there's a gentleman here who would like to go out here. By the mayor's Congratulations on the recognition by Chief McNiff and the Bloomfield governing body. I am sure that your family is proud. I wanted to be present tonight to attend an overnight prosecutors conference. Again, congratulations, very truly yours, Patrick P. Toscano Jr., First Assistant Prosecutor.
We certified a list of eligible candidates who have qualified by competitive examination for appointment to the position of police captain in the Bloomfield Police Department of the Township of Bloomfield. And whereas a vacancy presently exists in said position, now therefore
I
I, Robert Cici,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God. I, Robert Cici,
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of,
perform all the duties of the office of police captain
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best
of God. I'm sorry.
Mr. Members of the Council, an ordinance to amend the supplement chapter 185 of the Bloomfield Township Code as amended by providing parking for physically handicapped persons for numerous spots in Bloomfield. I move this ordinance on first reading.
Second.
Please call roll, please.
Councilman Dagnan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCarlo?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilman Galeota? Councilman Skinner?
Yes.
Councilman Kane?
Yes.
Mayor Norton?
Yes. 3, hearing upon adoption amendment of proposed ordinance on the second reading. Councilman Dagley.
Mayor and council, I move to the ordinance for second reading. It ordains Township Council, Township of New Jersey, Section 1, Section 2 of the ordinance, entitled ordinance adopting title for employees fixing salaries, fixing their duties and qualifications, fixing their salaries, adopted July 21, 1941, seeking for amendment and supplemented by further amendment and supplemented, so the same shall read as follows. Position title, planning and zoning administrator, salary range $28,181 to $553. Second.
Is a hearing on the second reading of this ordinance. Anyone who want to be heard, come forward, state your name and address. Seeing none, you can close that. Have a second.
Second.
Please call roll, please.
Councilman Dagnan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCarlo?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilwoman Skinner?
Yes.
Councilman Kane?
Yes.
Mayor Norton?
Yes. Number 2, salary ordinance.
The second ordinance is an ordinance to amend and supplement an ordinance entitled an ordinance adopting titles for employees, fixing salary ranges, therefore fixing their duties and qualifications, and fixing salaries adopted July 21st, 1941, as heretofore amended and supplemented. This is for the DPW foreman.
This is the second hearing on this proposed ordinance. Anyone want to be heard, please come forward, state your name and address. Seeing no one, close that. Mr. DeCarlo, Councilman DeCarlo.
Mayor, I move the ordinance.
Please call roll.
Councilman Dagnan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCarlo?
Yes.
Councilman Esposito?
Yes.
Councilwoman Skinner?
Yes.
Councilman Kane?
Yes.
Mayor Norton?
Yes. Number 3, Louise.
An ordinance to amend and supplement an ordinance entitled an ordinance adopting titles for employees, fixing salary ranges, therefore fixing their duties and qualifications, and fixing salaries adopted July 21st, 1941, as heretofore amended and supplemented. This ordinance is for the Department of Public Works, Division of Maintenance. This is the second reading.
Second reading on this ordinance, anyone to be heard, please come forward, state your name and address, seeing no one, close this portion. Councilman Skinner. Oh, no, that's the
Mayor, I move this ordinance.
Louise, call the roll. A second? We have a second?
Second.
Louise, call the roll.
Councilman Dagny.
Yes.
Councilman DeCarlo.
Yes.
Councilman Esposito.
Yes.
Councilwoman Skinner.
Yes.
Councilman Kane.
Yes.
Mayor Norton.
Yes. Number 4, Louise.
An ordinance to amend and supplement an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting titles for employees, fixing salary ranges, therefore, fixing their duties and qualifications, and fixing salaries adopted July 21st, 1941, as heretofore amended and supplemented. This is for a salary ordinance for the communications operators.
This is a hearing on the second reading on the proposed ordinance. Anyone to be heard, please come forward, state your name and address. Seeing no one. Councilwoman Skinner.
Mayor, members of the council, I move the salary ordinance on second reading.
Second.
Louise, call the roll, please.
Councilman Dagny.
Yes.
Councilman DeCarlo.
Yes.
Councilman Esposito.
Yes.
Councilwoman Skinner.
Yes.
Councilman Kane.
Yes.
Mayor Norton.
Yes. Number 5, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement an ordinance chapter 22 entitled Fire Department, adopted December 6, 1993, December 28, 1994, as heretofore amended and supplemented. This ordinance is regarding amending chapter 22, the chain of command for fire director and fire chief.
This is the second hearing on this ordinance. Anyone to be heard, please come forward, state your name and address. Seeing no one, close that portion. Councilman Kane.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I move this ordinance on second and final reading.
Louise, call the roll, please.
Second.
Oops, I'm sorry, get quick. Louise, call the roll.
Councilman Dagny.
No.
Councilman DeCarlo.
Yes.
Councilman Esposito.
Yes.
Councilwoman Skinner.
Yes.
Councilman Kane.
Yes.
Mayor Norton.
Yes. Number 6, please.
An ordinance to amend the title designation of Article 3, snow and ice removal, adopted November 19, 1962, sections 26-8 through 26-10.1 of the 1962 code, to read Article 3 entitled Grass, Weeds, Snow, and Ice.
So reading on second. Proposal, the second reading on this ordinance. Anyone to be heard, please come forward, state your name and address. Seeing no one, close that portion. Councilman Dagny.
Mayor and council, I move this ordinance for second and final reading.
Second.
Louise, call the roll, please.
Councilman Dagny.
Yes.
Councilman DeCarlo.
Yes.
Councilman Esposito.
Yes.
Councilwoman Skinner.
Yes.
Councilman Kane.
Yes.
Mayor Norton.
Yes. Move on to resolutions, resolution 1 done. Number 2, combination, Councilman DeCarlo.
Mayor and council, I have a resolution, which I will read in full. Whereas the governing body of the Township of Bloomfield takes great pride in recognizing one of their outstanding townspeople, and whereas Charlotte Boyd Cade of 31 Winding Lane, Bloomfield, New Jersey, will be honored at the Apple for the Teacher program hosted by the Iota Phi Lambda Sorority Phi chapter at the Friar Tuck Inn in Cedar Grove on November 21st, 1998, during National Education Week celebration. And whereas the Iota Phi Lambda sorority is a national business women's sorority devoted to projecting the philosophy of the pursuit of excellence in all worthy endeavors among youth, and this year's theme is Teaching Children to Think and Dream. And whereas Mrs. Charlotte Boyd Cade, a native of Knoxville, Tennessee, attended the Knoxville Public Schools and was honored with an undergraduate of Austin High School, and whereas she began her undergraduate studies at Johnson C. Smith University, Charlotte, North Carolina, where she earned with honors a Bachelor of Arts degree in music education with a minor in English. And whereas while a student, Mrs. Cade served as the accompanist of the University Choir and instructor in piano, and was the first underclass student permitted to serve as organist of a church in the city of Charlotte. And whereas she received a master's degree in music education from Montclair State University, Upper Montclair, New Jersey, and upon graduation, she accepted employment as a music consultant in Muhlenberg County School System in Charlotte. During this time, she continued her duties as church organist. And Whereas Mrs. Cade also taught in Athens, Tennessee, and Newark, New Jersey, and is presently employed by the Elizabeth, New Jersey Board of Education as a local piano instructor in the William F. Holleran Alternative School Number 22 for gifted students. 30 of her students were selected to perform in 2 Broadway musicals, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, 1993 and 94, and A Christmas Carol in 1994-95. And whereas she employs many activities of interest and is ordained elder in the Central Presbyterian Church, New York, New Jersey, where she serves as church organist, chancel choir director. She is frequently called upon to serve as guest accompanist, adjudicator, and clinician. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the Township Council of the Township of Bloomfield that on behalf of the townspeople, we do hereby honor and commend Charlotte Boyd Cade on her display of dedication to promote leadership in our children, and let this resolution be testimonial of the deep respect and high esteem in which Charlotte Boyd Cade is held by the governing body of the Township of Bloomfield and by all people of the township. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be spread full upon the minutes of this meeting, and a certified copy thereof signed by the mayor, James P. North. I move the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, I'd like to stop at the resolutions. Stephanie Marie Smith has just come in. We'd like to bring her up. Stephanie, and swear you in. Somebody take this picture.
Turn the camera.
Give it- your name. Wanna hold this? Raise your right hand. I
I, Stephanie Smith,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I
I, Stephanie Smith,
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially and justly perform
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of the Civil Rights and Human Rights Commission
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
One more, Trish. Cut me out, Trish.
Thank you so much.
Alderman.
Mayor, we I'm a little remiss in my duties. We have in the audience Bernie Ellis, the chairperson of the Iota Phi Lambda sorority, and we'd like to have come up and accept this resolution on behalf of Charlotte Boyd Kay. On behalf of the mayor and township council, please present this to Charlotte on our behalf and with our respect and admiration for a wonderful job she's done.
Thank you so very much.
All right, number 3, memorial, Councilwoman Skinner.
Mayor and members of the council, I have before me a resolution, whereas for over 40 years, autism was thought to be an emotional disorder caused by trauma or bad parenting. And whereas this tragic mistake resulted in the loss of an entire generation of children to medical progress. And whereas today we know that autism is a severe neurological disorder that affects over 400,000 individuals in the United States, one of every 500 children born today. And whereas autism is the third most common developmental disorder and is more prevalent than Down syndrome, childhood cancer, or cystic fibrosis, with an annual cost of over $13 billion, yet receives less than 5% of the funding of the other less common disorders. And whereas Senate Bill S-2263 and House Bill H.R. 4203, entitled The Advancement in Pediatric Autism Research Act, will create 5 centers of excellence for autism, a centralized and open gene bank, development of an awareness campaign for physicians and the public, encourage the National Institute of Health to allocate money to the currently unfunded Joint Institute program announcement in autism, and legislate roughly $40 million a year for 5 years to autism. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the Township of Bloomfield that we urge United States Senators Torricelli and Lautenberg and Congressman Pascrell to adopt Senate Bill S-2263 and House Bill H.R. 4203. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 4, certification. It must, before we have this read, has every member of the council read this audit, and you must have read at least a minimum of the general comments and recommendation to vote in the affirmative on this. Councilman Kane.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, resolution. Whereas NJSA 40A-5-4 requires the governing body of every local unit to have made an annual audit of its books, accounts, and financial transactions. And whereas the annual report of audit for the year 1997 has been filed by a registered municipal accountant with the municipal clerk as per the requirements of NJS 40A-5-6, and a copy has been received by each member of the governing body. And whereas the local finance board of the state of New Jersey is authorized to prescribe reports pertaining to the local fiscal affairs as per RS 52.27BB-34. And whereas the members of the governing body have personally reviewed same, and specifically the section of the annual audit entitled General Comments and Recommendations as evidenced by the group affidavit form of the governing body. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5, emergency appropriation permit library roofs. Councilman Dagnan.
Mayor and council, I have before me the ordinance. Whereas an emergency has arisen with respect to the deteriorating condition of the roofs of the main and children's library buildings, resulting in rain damage to the interior of the buildings and their contents, which have also adversely affected the health and public welfare of the library patrons. And whereas adequate provision could not be made in the 1998 municipal budget for this aforesaid purpose, and NJS 48:40-46 provides for the creation of an emergency appropriation for the purpose of above mentioned. And whereas the total amount of the emergency appropriation created, including the appropriation to be created by this resolution, is $11,000, and 3% of the total operating appropriation in the budget for the year 1998 is $1,000,000 $34,734.12. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in accordance with NJSA 4840-46, an emergency appropriation be and the same is hereby made for $11,000 for the maintenance of the Free Public Library and other expenses. 2, that the said emergency appropriation shall be provided for in full in the 1999 municipal budget. 3, that the statement required by the local finance board has been filed with the clerk, and a copy therefore will be transmitted to the Director of the Division of Local Government Services. And 4, the 2 certified copies of this resolution shall be filed with the Director of the Division of Local Government Services. I will move that resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 6, budget transfer number 1, Councilman DeCarlo.
Mayor and council have a resolution authorizing transfers between budget appropriations, whereas under NJSA 40A:4-58, transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be resolved by the mayor and township council for the township of Bloomfield and the county of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as follows. Various accounts from police, fire, road service, public buildings, sewer maintenance, shade tree, etc., in the amount of $242,895. Move the resolution.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 7, budget transfers number 2, FMBA, Councilman Esposito.
Mayor and council have a resolution authorizing transfers between budget appropriations, whereas under NJSA 48-4-58, transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be resolved by the mayor and township council for the township of Bloomfield and the county of Essex, New Jersey, that transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as following. From Bloomfield budget transfer number 2, FMBA, salary and negotiations to fire salary and wages and uniform fire code for the sum of $161,230. I move the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3, budget transfer number 3, PBA, Councilwoman Skinner.
Mayor and members of the council have before me a resolution authorizing transfers between budget appropriations under NJSA 40A:4-58. Transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be resolved by the mayor and township council for the township of Bloomfield and the county of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as stated in the resolution from various accounts in the total amount of $223,330. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Budget transfer number 4, OPEIOU, Councilman King.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, resolution authorizing transfer between budget appropriation, whereas under NJSA 48:4-58, transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be it resolved by the mayor and township council for the township of Bloomfield and the county of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as follows. From the budget transfer number 4, OPIU, in the amount of $142,370,000. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 10, budget transfer number 5, unclassified, Councilman Dagnan.
Mayor and council have before me a resolution whereas under NJSA 48:44-58, transfers are permitted between the budget appropriations over the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be resolved by the mayor and council that the township of Bloomfield and the county of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfer between the 1998 budget appropriation be made as follows. Budget transfers number 5, unclassified, only $38,970 from one account to various other accounts. I would so move that resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 11, budget transfer number 6, Councilman DeCarlo.
Mayor and council have a resolution authorizing transfers between budget appropriations, where under NJSA 48:4-58, transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be resolved by the mayor and township council of the township of Bloomfield and the county of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as follows. Budget transfer number 6, various accounts totaling $267,000. I move the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 12, budget transfers 1W, Councilman Esposito.
Mayor and council have a resolution authorizing transfers between budget appropriations, whereas under the NJSA 48-4-58 transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Township Council of the Township of Bloomfield and the County of Essex, New Jersey, that transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as follows. Township of Bloomfield budget transfer number 1 million from water revenue to water maintenance to water salaries and wages and water maintenance, the sum of $8,200. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 13, budget transfer 2W, OPEIU, Councilwoman Skinner.
Mayor and members of the council, I have before me a resolution authorizing transfers between budget appropriations under NJSA 48:4-58, that the transfers between the 1998 budget appropriations be made as stated in the resolution for the Township of Bloomfield budget transfer number 2WOPEIU in the amount of $28,060. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 14, budget transfers 3W, classified Councilman Kane.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, a resolution authorizing transfer between budget appropriation, whereas under NJSA 48:4-58, transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Township Council for the Township of Bloomfield and the County of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfers between 1998 budget appropriations be made as follows. Township of Bloomfield budget transfer number 3W unclassified from salary and wage negotiations to water revenue and water maintenance in the amount of $8,470. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 15, budget transfer 4W, Councilman Dagger.
Mayor and council, I have before me a resolution, whereas under NJSA 48:4-58, transfers are permitted between budget appropriations during the last 2 months of the fiscal year. Be resolved by the Mayor and council of the Township of Bloomfield and the County of Essex, New Jersey, that the transfer between 1998 budget appropriations be made as follows. Township of Bloomfield budget transfer number 4W, transferring $50,000 from the salary and wage negotiation to $50,000 for the purchase of water. I would so move that resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 16, budget insertion, special items of revenue, body armor replacement, Councilman Carter.
Mayor and council, a resolution providing for the insertion of special items of revenue and appropriation in the budget chapter 159/3, whereas NJSA 48:4-87 provides that the Director of the Division of Local Finance may approve the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget of any municipality when such item shall have been made available by law and the amount thereof is not determined at the time of the adoption of the budget. And whereas said director may also approve the insertion of any items of appropriation of equal amount. And whereas after the 1998 budget was adopted, the Township of Bloomfield became informed of the availability of revenue in the amount of $7,528.53 from the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, account number 8-01-08-309-000. Now therefore be resolved that the Township of Bloomfield hereby requests that the Director of the Division of Local Finance to approve the insertion of an item of revenue in the budget for the year 1998, the sum of $7,528.53. I move the resolution.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 17, budget insertion, special items of revenue, Board of Health Interlocal Service Agreements, Councilman Esposito.
Mayor and council, I have a resolution for 2A. Whereas NJSA 48:4-87 provides that the Director of Division of Local Finance may approve the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget of any municipality when such item shall have been made available by law and the amount thereof is not determined at the time of the adoption of the budget. Whereas said director may approve the insertion of any item through appropriations for equal amount. Whereas after the 1998 budget was adopted, Township of Bloomfield became informed of availability of revenue for the amount of $23,018 from the Health Department Interlocal Service Agreement, Bloomfield Board of Education, account number 8-01-08-125-H35. I move the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 18, budget insertion, special items of revenue, tobacco sales enforcement grant, Councilwoman Skinner.
Members of the council, I have before me a resolution whereas NJSA 48:4-87 provides that the Director of the Division of Local Finance may approve the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget of any municipality when such item shall have been made available by law and the amount thereof was not determined at the time of adoption of the budget. And whereas said director may also approve the insertion of any items of appropriation for equal amount. And whereas after the 1998 budget was adopted, the Township of Bloomfield became informed of the availability of revenue in the amount of $495 from the State of New Jersey Department of Health, account number 8-01-08-250-000. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township of Bloomfield hereby requests the Director of the Division of Local Finance to improve the insertion of an item of revenue in the budget for the year 1998 in the sum of $495 as an anticipated revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Health. And be it further resolved that a like sum of $495 be and the same is hereby appropriated in the budget of the Township of Bloomfield for the Tobacco Sales Enforcement Grant, account number 08-0139-250-012. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 19, cancellation, grant receivable balance, Ampere Parkway resurfacing. Councilman Kane.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, resolution to cancel a grant receivable balance of $520.52 entitled State of New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund, Ampere Parkway, for calendar year 1996, and that the current fund balance sheet dedicated to same street improvement has been completed, approved, and said improvement was accepted by the Township Council. Therefore be it resolved that the following grant receivable of $520.52 and the appropriation reserve balance of same amount be canceled. State of New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund, Ampere Parkway resurfacing. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 20, cancellation, grants receivable balance, Municipal Alliance on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, CY, current year 1997. Councilman Dagny.
Mayor and council, I have before me a resolution whereas the receivable balance of $84.85 entitled Municipal Alliance on Alcohol and Drug Abuse, CY 1997, account number 802-117-03-306-397 remains on the current fund balance sheet dedicated to such grant, and whereas it's necessary to formally cancel receivable balance and its appropriation reserve balance from the balance sheet, now therefore be resolved that the following grant receivable of $84.85 and the appropriation reserve balance of $84.85 be canceled. I so move that resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 21, change order number 1, replacement windows for fire headquarters. Councilman Carlson.
Mayor and council, a resolution whereas the Township of Bloomfield entered into contract for replacement windows for fire headquarters with the Tri-State Building Materials Corp. 65 Lodi Street, Passaic, New Jersey. And whereas the change order number 1 and final increase the cost of the amount of $3,970 due in various changes, I move the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 22, final acceptance, replacement windows for fire headquarters. Councilman Esposito.
Mayor and council, be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Bloomfield, New Jersey, that the report of the Township Engineer dated November 9th, 1998, with respect to account number C04-55-991-981, installation of windows in the Township of Bloomfield, Tri-State Building Materials Corporation, 65 Lodi Street, Passaic, New Jersey. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 23, final acceptance, handicap grant, 1997. Councilwoman Skip.
Mayor and members of the council, I have a resolution, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Bloomfield, New Jersey, that the report of the Township Engineer dated November 9th, 1998, attached hereto and made a part hereof as though recited at length herein with respect to account numbers 130-902-796-20-21 and 030-993-571-50-82 handicap ramp 1997 in the Township of Bloomfield with A. Sefeli and Son General Construction Company, 4 Polish Street, Nutley, New Jersey, be the same and is hereby approved, and said improvements are hereby accepted upon the understanding that this resolution fixes the date when the period for the maintenance of the aforesaid work shall commence, and except as herein otherwise provided, all of the provisions of said agreement and performance bonds shall remain in full force and effect. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 24, change order number 1, 1996 water main improvements. Councilman King.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, resolution whereas the Township of Bloomfield entered into a contract for 1996 water main improvements with Kramer Brothers of East Broadway, Hackensack, New Jersey. And change order number 1 increased the cost in the amount of $79,544.40 due to various changes. And whereas the town council, based on the recommendation of the town engineer, is satisfied that the change described should be approved. Whereas this change was unforeseen and found to be beneficial and necessary, I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 25, transfer CDGB funds for Felton Field barrier-free bathrooms. Councilman Bagley.
Mayor and council, whereas the township of Bloomfield has funds remaining from prior years regarding activities completed under the Community Development Block Grant Program or activities to be completed with other Community Development Block Grant funds already reserved, and whereas the available balances can be reprogrammed to other eligible CDBG activities, and whereas the township of Bloomfield wishes to complete the construction of a barrier-free bathrooms at the Felton Field, and now therefore be resolved by the Township Council of Township of Bloomfield that, 1, an amendment to the program year 1998 action plan submission of the consolidated plan is hereby approved to authorize an additional $24,200 for the completion of barrier-free bathrooms at the Felton Field with the attached memorandum. 2, the mayor and township of Bloomfield as certifying officer is hereby authorized as follows. A, should any comment received during the required public comment period concerning the amendment so warrant, to request the Township Council of the Township of Bloomfield, New Jersey, to revise the proposed amendment and to file the amendment to the 1998 action plan submission with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, and C, to serve as the authorized representative of the Township of Bloomfield in connection with the revision and to provide such additional information as may be required. I would so move that resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 26, Workers' Compensation Award. Councilman DeCarlo.
Mayor and council, the resolution, whereas on October 9, 1998, judgment was entered in the Division of Workers' Compensation of the New Jersey Department of Labor and Industry against the Township of Bloomfield in case number 97-024373, wherein Rick Alves, police officer, was petitioner and the Township of Bloomfield was responded, and the amount of the judgment recorded as follows, various fees, and whereas the Township is advised by the Department of Law of the Township of Bloomfield, New Jersey, that there is no reasonable ground on which to appeal said judgment, that is said to be paid in accordance with the terms thereof, in the amount of $10,200 to Rick Alves. Move the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 27, Workers' Compensation Award. Councilman Esposito.
Mayor and council, whereas on October 30th, 1998, judgment was entered in the Division of Workers' Compensation, the State of New Jersey Department of Labor and Industry, against the Township of Bloomfield, case number 98-00248, wherein John Marcy, police officer, was petitioner, Township of Bloomfield was responded. The amount of the judgment is recorded as follows. For various expenses in the amount of $11,250. I move the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Workers' Compensation Award. Councilwoman Skinner.
Mayor, members of the council, I have before me a resolution whereas on October 9, 1998, judgment was entered into the Division of Workmen's Compensation in the New Jersey Department of Labor and Industry against the Township of Bloomfield in case number 97-023818, wherein Glenn Wygan, police officer, was petitioner and the Township of Bloomfield was responded, and the amount of judgment of record in the dollar amount as stated in the resolution, and whereas the Township is advised by the Department of Law of the Township of Bloomfield, New Jersey, that there is no reasonable ground on which to appeal said judgment, and that the same should be paid in accordance with the terms. I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 29, awarded bids barrier-free toilet facility, Vassar Field. Councilman King.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, resolution, whereas sealed bids were received by the purchasing committee of the Township of Bloomfield for barrier-free toilet facilities on Monday, November 16th, in the council chambers at 10 a.m. And whereas all bids were referred to the township engineer, and whereas the township engineer, after due consideration to each of the bids submitted, recommends that the contract be awarded to the low bidder as follows: Valkyrie Construction, 633 Franklin Avenue, Nutley, New Jersey, in the amount of $47,500. And whereas this project is eligible for funding under a community development block grant funding, and said funds must be programmed and transferred into CDBG account B-19-96-915-028, I move this resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? New business licenses, Councilman Danny.
Mayor and council, I have performed the following licensing application. For raffle license, the Holy Name Society of Sacred Heart Church, Bloomfield, New Jersey. St. Valentine's Roman Catholic Church, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Sacred Heart Home and School Association Draw Raffle, Bloomfield, New Jersey. The bingo license, Sacred Heart Church, 38 dates, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Sacred Heart Home and School Association, 39 dates, Bloomfield, New Jersey. For open air parking station license, Lynn's Nissan City Inc., Bloomfield, New Jersey. Berkeley Auto Body, Bloomfield, New Jersey. For a garage license, Newcomb Market Inc., Bloomfield, New Jersey. Bloomfield Auto Body, Bloomfield, New Jersey. For a music machine license, Villa Italiana, Trading as 7 Hills, Bloomfield, New Jersey. For a taxi cab operator's license, John McCluffy of Bloomfield, New Jersey, and Julio Burgos of Newark, New Jersey. I would so move those licenses.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, the chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're out of here.